Hello and welcome into the VR accessibility overview for Little Nightmares VR Altered Echoes. This game is on Steam for PC VR, the PS5 for the PSVR 2, which is what I'm on, and the MetaQuest headsets for the MetaQuest 2, 3, and 3S. And with that, we will just get into this. You have a lot of different languages. I will just start with that, since that is right at the top. You have a good selection there. You do not have subtitles. If you have played or have seen the non-VR Little Nightmares games, any of the three, there is not really talking. The enemies make like shriek sounds, but that's kind of it. So yeah, no subtitles for certain things like climbing and descending a rope or anything like that. And various other things. Little things of text will come up when you first encounter each of those kind of things, but that is about it. You do not have to worry about talking. Your controls, you have your controller layout right here. I like I said, I'm on the PSVR 2, but you could check this. You cannot go and remap these in the game itself. So you will, if you want to remap like X and circle or what is it, A and B on most other VR controllers, or square and triangle, or X and Y, or R3, L3, that kind of stuff. You will have to do that either via Steam rebinds in the accessibility settings on the PS5. Make sure you're in the headset and then go into the accessibility settings, and the PSVR 2 controllers will show up then, and you can remap all that. And if you're on a MetaQuest headset, then you can go as well into the accessibility settings on the headset, and you can rebind, remap, whatever. All these buttons, prompts in game may still show whatever it was. So if you change X and circle to be your left controller and flip them around in game, it will still show what it was. So it'll still show X, even though for you change it, it might be square, or it might be A, and then you change it to X. You know. You can change the grip to grab things. It's usually the grip triggers, which is R1 and L1 on the PSVR 2 controllers. You can change that to R2 and L2, which are the triggers for your index fingers. I do have it switch that. I have a hard time grab with the grip trigger on my right hand, so I do have that switched. You can turn on or off the crouch button if you don't need it, and all that, and controller vibration. Not really anything else here. We go into accessibility. You have text size right at the top if you're, a little bit hard of seeing, and you can switch it to large, which makes it, really big. I usually keep it on standard. You have font for people with dyslexia that I've never seen in a game. So I do not know if this does any helps in any specific way, but that is a very nice addition. It's a group That's a thing that's normally not thought of, I think. And then you have a seated mode. Now, I want to get this out of the way. Developers, publishers, whoever, if you're seeing this video, please go onto the PlayStation Store and update that. Because right now, it does not say that this game can be played seated. You do have it says standing, and it says room scale. However, on the Meta Store, it says sitting and standing. Can we get, that would be that it is very helpful to people, since it is very hard to refund a game on PlayStation. If that is something that is needed, like it is for me, it's nice to know that ahead of time. So please do remedy that situation. It's weird that you got it right on the Quest Store, but on PlayStation, we didn't exactly get the correct information. That would be a nice change. But you do have that. And it is, when you first boot up this game, that is actually something they have you pick off the rip. So it will ask you if you are going to be playing it sitting or standing. So you don't have to wait until you get to the main menu to go into the options to turn this on, which is good. It will set your height as well for seated mode. Then you have highlight. I'm not really too sure. I'm assuming this will just highlight like certain things that you need to be able to interact with, which is kind of cool. And it does. Oh, okay. We have 4 colors, and that is it. And the intensity you can turn up on there. I'll turn that off. And hood occlusions. If you have seen any footage of this game, when you are playing it, you do look like you have a hood on, because you are playing as the Echo of 6, who is the main character from the first game, as well as she was in the second. She has a hood, so you are wearing it, and I will actually go in game right now. Not chapter 1. We'll just go in chapter 2, and I will show you what I mean. As you can see the little occlusion there of me wearing this hood, right? So if I go into the settings and I turn it to large hood occlusion, you see even less of the screen. Now, I do realize this is probably to help anybody with movement, as there's only smooth movement in this game. There's no teleport or any of that. So I realize it's kind of like having a vignette, but you permanently have the vignette. As well as, again, it's true to the character that we are playing the Echo of. So that is what I mean. I'm going to go back and turn this to standard. And I believe, yes, that is it. In the case of all of the things that are in this game for accessibility, whatever kind of accessibility you may need. Hopefully it covers. Sorry, the back of my head itches. Hopefully it covers the one that you need, I really hope it does, so more people can play this game. Now, I think biggest thing, or the last couple of things that I also usually cover in the notes, difficulty levels. There are none. What you get is what you get. The original games were the same way. It's not really much. You have to run, hide, sneak, that kind of stuff. And there are chase sequences in this game. The other thing is colorblind modes. You obviously saw it doesn't really have those. If you are on a Meta headset, though, you can go under visual and then the color correction, and colorblind options are in there. There are the 3 normal ones you usually would see, but do note that the changes are headset wide, so if you turn one on, it affects everything in or out of a game, so be aware of that. You can always turn it off if you want to. And I believe one of the last things that I always try and mention is upper body and arm movement levels. This is going to be a full, because there is nothing this little laser pointer that you see does not work in game. You cannot just point at an item, hold the grip, and then it go to your hand. Doesn't work. You do have to fully reach for an item, and you have to grab it, and you have to hold the grip. There's no toggle for that, so you can just hold it and not have to keep holding the trigger down. And like I said, there are chase sequences, and one of them in particular, I am not going to spoil it. There's a lot of climbing, and all throughout the game, honestly, there's a lot of climbing, and you will need to be able to go quick in certain circumstances. So if that is something that is a difficult thing for you, or downright an impossible thing for you to be able to do, you may have to stick with just watching a playthrough of this game or a stream or something like that, because you will need to be doing that quite often. But yeah, hopefully this helps you or somebody you know who's on the fence about this game, didn't know whether they could play it or not. They were like me, maybe, and on the PS5 and the game not saying you could play it seated. If that is something that you need, you can. Don't know why it's not part of the store description. Please fix it, developers. Very much appreciated. But yeah, down in the description at the top, you will find a link to a Google spreadsheet with over 100 and I think we're on 140 sets of notes, as well as you will find this will be the 105th accessibility overview video. You will find the links to every game I've covered that I've done a video overview for. The links are all right next to the corresponding notes, all in alphabetical order, separated by tabs, all that in that Google spreadsheet. And this video, as well as the notes, will be on there as well when you are seeing this. So go check that out, especially if you're just getting into VR and want to know more games that you could probably play. Or again, if you know somebody who is wanting to get into VR and they want to know games that they can play, hopefully the videos and notes can help. But with that all said, I hope you have a great rest of your day or night whenever you happen to be watching this, and I will see you later. Alright, bye!